don't lie. Like, if you're not actually using AI, don't say you're using AI. I'm Brandie Nonnecke. I'm the director of the Citrus Policy Lab, headquartered at UC Berkeley. There is a very tunnel vision focus right now on generative AI systems and foundation models. All the while, there are many forms of AI that are right now being deployed and used that affect people's lives every day, have consequential impacts on their ability to exercise their rights. And one of my worries is a hyper-focus on generative AI and foundation models will distract us from being able to design and deploy those other AI-enabled systems in ways that benefit the common good. There are forms of AI that are being used in your everyday life. For example, a recommender system on a search engine is feeding you up content that might be very different from the content that's provided to me in my feed. Also, there are algorithms being used to determine if somebody is submitting a fraudulent claim to a government and then they are denied services. While I don't deny that AI is moving in these more advanced domains, the current issues right now are so significant that I don't want us to hyper-focus on this imagined future and overlook what we need to do right now. I think that these startups have what we call in economics a late mover advantage. They can look at the larger companies that have put in place, to the best of their ability, a responsible AI strategy and learn from that. Also looking at, for example, in the US domestically, we have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. NIST is our National Institute for Standards and Technology. So they can look at that and from the ground up, set up their business to be responsible by design. It's like moving a large ship. Those larger companies, it's a lot harder for them to build in these processes than a smaller company can do it right from the beginning. And what I think is that it will become a competitive advantage. Another point I want to make is that in the venture capital space, we saw a lot of the venture capitalists investing in AI companies. Well, if you actually looked at the technology, 99% of the time, it wasn't AI. Essentially, they're investing in hype, right? They're investing in the hype cycle around AI. So what I would recommend to entrepreneurs is to be conscientious of that. And to be blunt, I think you can take advantage of it, but don't lie. Like, if you're not actually using AI, don't say you're using AI. And I do think that the venture capitalists, given that this space is becoming more regulated, they're wising up to the fact that they should not be investing in these startups that do not have a robust AI governance strategy. First, I would say, check to see if it's appropriate for you to use AI in the problem space you're working in. You know, there's this FOMO, fear of missing out, where we're seeing all of the startups right now kind of like jumping on to say, how can I use AI in my business? What's the incentive here? How can I harness this technology? First, I think it's asking whether or not it's appropriate and the type of AI. If we look back, AI, the field in computer science, is grounded in statistical modeling. Perhaps a linear regression or a logistical regression is the type of tool that you actually need. You don't need a generative AI system. So first, and I would say that would be appropriateness. Now second, what can you do if you decide, yes, it is important for us to use AI and it's important for us to use, let's say, generative AI system, a large language model. Well, I think once you start to look at it and you're using it, do that red teaming, right? Which builds from cybersecurity, where you're going to audit the system and make sure that it's not going to inappropriately produce results or decisions that harm your company's mission and intent that is not fit for purpose. And then third, it's implementing continuous algorithmic auditing and continuous monitoring. Now, that doesn't have to be at all times unless it's an incredibly high-risk area, which called out in the EU AI Act in one of the appendices, right? Like education, health, finance, these are very high-risk areas. You're going to have to do a lot more auditing. If you're using it in a less risky area, you might put in an algorithmic auditing, continuous monitoring process that happens every few cycles of the year, maybe every quarter.